This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, Kurt, with that, let's get to the fan questions. We have some fan questions this week on this particular episode. Michael McClanahan kicks us off, and he said, we've heard various opinions from both Bruce Pritchard and Eric Bischoff on James Storm's charisma and consistency of performances. What was Kurt's opinion of James Storm as an in-ring performer?
Oh, I thought James was awesome. I thought his in-ring skills were great. His promo skills were off the chart. He had a great character. He had a great look. He had all the facets to be a very successful pro wrestler. I think that, I don't know if Bruce and Eric were talking about the one thing that I thought that James might have, it's very minute, very small, but I'm not sure if that's what James and Bruce were talking, or Eric and Bruce were talking about, but James tended to be a little lazy every once in a while. That was his only downfall. And it wasn't even that much of a problem. It was just every once in a while, he would get just a little bit lazy, but I'm not sure if that's what Eric and Bruce are talking about. But as far as his performances and his consistency, he was damn good. He was really good.
Yeah, I was going to ask you if you had thoughts on maybe what he could have done differently that you think would have elevated him more. James Storm is a guy that we never saw have that big WWE run or anything like that. And I didn't know if there's something that stood out to you, Kurt, to say, hey, if he would have worked on this or maybe done this a little better, we could have gotten a little more out of James Storm.
I just think that WWE looked him over. I mean, I know that they gave him an opportunity to go to NXT and he didn't take the offer. And they never offered again. But unfortunately for James, I do believe that he would have been a big star in WWE.
All right. Next question is from an Instagram, a wrestling historian. He says, how come James Storm didn't get another TNA championship reign, in your opinion?
I don't know. James, he was there. I think what they had in mind was to push Bobby Roode at this particular time. And I think they didn't know what to do with James because he was part of Bear Money. They were a tag team. So Bobby Roode was the guy they were pushing. And I know they wanted to put James on hold. But when I got injured, then that caused problems for their program. So I ended up facing Bobby Roode, winning the world title from him. I'm not sure why. And then James beat me for the world title. And then Bobby Roode beat James Storm for the world title. So I'm not sure why that occurred, but it was really a crazy situation.
Zol Lopez is up next. He said, Kurt, why the change in the way you lock in the ankle lock? Was it for a fresh paint of coat, as Bruce would say?
Bruce's fresh paint of coat. Coat of paint. Coat of paint.
Yeah.
Why'd you say paint of coat?
Yeah, that's like how Bruce likes to call it. That's right.
Oh, okay. I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's his play of words. Yep.
Okay. What was the question again?
He said, why the change in the way you locked in the ankle lock? You applied it a little differently here.
I never applied it differently. I'm not sure if they were talking about when I started sitting back on it, finding the leg. Maybe that's what he was talking about. I started doing that to show the fans that was the definitive finish. That's when the ankle lock was going to work and the athlete was going to tap out. I wanted to do something more definitive to make my move more legitimate.
I feel strongly that saving money is important. If it's not something we worry about now, boy, we are really going to worry about it later. And I want to help you get out of debt faster and do it with cheaper monthly payments. I'm talking to you if you're in a 30-year loan. Now is the time to take years off of your loan. We're routinely helping our listeners cut 5, 10, even 15 years off their loan, and you can do this without perfect credit with no money out of pocket. You've just got to start at SaveWithConrad.com.
Very good. Well, Fernando Diaz is up next. He says, hypothetically, where would a team like Beer Money fit better in, the Attitude Era or the Ruthless Aggression Era? Kurt, what do you think?
Oh, man, I think that would have fit perfectly in both. One or the other. It didn't really matter, but they would have had a lot more fun in the Attitude Era. And that tag team would have been so over and so entertaining, especially during the Attitude Era when you could do crazy stuff. These guys would have been incredibly successful superstars in WWE.
I agree. I think it was fun. It was something different, something we hadn't seen before. And I think it would have worked in either one as well, Kurt. So great question, Fernando. Thank you for asking. Umar Khan has a question. He says, Kurt, why do you think James Storm never had a proper run in the WWE? So this goes back to an earlier thought that you and I were talking about. Do you think it was just timing? I mean, other than timing, I don't know why he would have never had that proper run.
Well, a few years ago, like I said before, Triple H offered him a deal for NXT to start out at NXT. And James didn't like the money figure. So he refused it. And Triple H never contacted him again. So I know that James tried to reach back and see if they were still interested, but for some reason the company wasn't interested. I don't know if they were turned off because James turned down the deal, or I don't know what the situation was, but they should have contacted James again. And James should be in WWE, but I'm not sure why he isn't.
All right, last question this week is from Austin Williams, and it says, how underrated was James Storm as a singles wrestler?
Well, James was every bit as good of a single wrestler as he was a tag wrestler. And he was really successful as a tag team with Beer Money and also with Chris Harris.
That's right.
What was their
America's Most Wanted.
America's Most Wanted. That was an awesome tag team too.
Yep.
So James started out in 2 tag teams, but he parlayed into in singles wrestling really well, and he became a great singles wrestler. So I'm not sure why it didn't. I would say that he's every bit as good of a singles wrestler as he is a tag wrestler, and he was a damn good tag wrestler. So there's nothing else to say about James. He was as good as it gets.
By the way, if you're looking for a good realtor and you're in the Tennessee area, James Storm is your guy. Kurt, he now is selling homes as part of what he does too. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
James is now a realtor.
Man.
Go get him, James.
So he'll have a beer with you. He'll sell you a home. And if you're lucky, maybe he'll even super kick you.
Yeah, kick your head off.
Nah, that's fantastic. Well, Kurt, this was a fun topic. Anything else that you want to share about your man James Storm here, this big match turning point? Overall thoughts on James Storm, the man and the wrestler, from Kurt Angle. What do you got?
James was an incredible wrestler, and I think he should have had a lot more success in pro wrestling. There isn't a guy that I know that wasn't willing to put in the time and the effort, give everything that he has. I have nothing but good things to say about James as a wrestler. As an individual, he was even better. As a friend, James was very giving, very caring, and we spent a lot of time together traveling, and I had a great time with James. I love the kid to death.
There you go. Well, Kurt, this one was a lot of fun. Great topic. And listen, by the way, next week, we're going to have another very special guest, or guests, you could say. And then the week after that, we'll be doing a watch-along of Kurt's Family Christmas from Raw, December 25th, 2000.
That's gonna be a fun one.
That is going to be a fun one. The next couple of weeks are going to be a lot of fun, Kurt. I know you're looking forward to the guests, too. We can't spoil the surprise.
Yes, it's a reunion. That's all I could say.
It's going to be a reunion only here on the Kurt Angle Show. And that'll be the end after those 2 shows. That's the end of 2021, Kurt. Can you believe it already? My goodness, where's the time gone? It's
gone by very quickly. Although the pandemic made it slow, the last year has been pretty fast. But I will say that I'm glad that things are starting to open up for everybody.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.